Good morning. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science here in New York City. Welcome to our virtual presentation. Today we're going to be talking about being a lifter, a cheerleader. So welcome to everyone who's signed in on Zoom. Again, this is First Church of Religious Science. We have 3 virtual gatherings a week. The Creative Living series is facilitated by Jimmy. Jimmy is a practitioner here. You all know him. He's our facilitator also. And practitioner, facilitator, and he does a lot of the work behind the scenes here at the center also. So I know you all love him. He's doing great work. So join him on Wednesdays. Thursday, I facilitate the Louise self-healing class, which is really a mixture of You Can Heal Your Life, her famous book, and also the work of Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of our teaching. That class has become enormous, and there's a lot of people watching it also on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So as we proceed with today's lesson, we realize, again, that this is a special place, and it's a special moment in time. First Church of Religious Science has been around for a long time. It's a sacred place for transformation. It's been so for countless people for many years. A place of healing, a place of empowerment, and a place of growth. Several of my teachers over the years have told me that this teaching, we, all of us, are the applauders of life. I've heard us called applauders. I've heard us called the cheerleaders of life. And they've said it because when you're in this teaching for a while, you begin to develop what we'll call it is a healing consciousness, where you really are a lifter because you're connected with Source, you know who you are, and then you're loving yourself more, and you know you're one with the One, and you naturally express that and you share that. And you don't even know the good that you do in the world. So I'm passing on to you what was passed on to me. You are the applauders, you're the cheerleaders, because you're developing a healing consciousness where you're devoted to seeing the good in yourself and in others. Louise Hay's work particularly was about learning to love the self and build up your self-esteem. And then we get into science of mind where we realize, as we build ourselves up and our self-esteem, we realize that we are one with we are one with this Source. We are one with this creative intelligence. That thing you're looking for is within you. This spirit, this God, this good that we're all talking about, this Source energy is in all of us all of the time. And we're devoted in this teaching to seeing the good in ourselves and others. So let's begin today by thinking of life as a garden, something we talk about from time to time. Let's think of life as a garden. Think of a garden where things we compliment and praise quickly grow. So in this garden, if you're watering your plants, the plants in our garden, we're going to water them with kind words instead of water. Every time we say something positive about something or someone, we're helping that person, that idea or thing bloom just a little bit more. This isn't just a nice thought. It's a truth that works everywhere in life. When we focus on the good, like how beautiful the day is today with all of us together, or when we focus on, we come from appreciation, we show appreciation to someone or something for someone for their help, we are adding more happiness and goodness into the world. And here's the magical part of doing this. The world responds to it. The world loves this. So we wake up to realize that there is this goodness and we share it, and it just multiplies. I've had so many examples of this in my own life, I wouldn't even know where to begin. As I was thinking this morning, I'm very fond of a lady, Pat, who I've known for many, many, many years. And I know what she does because I've watched her for many years. She takes a moment to smile and say hello to just about everyone. I've watched her do this over and over again. And sometimes she shakes their hands, but there's always a hello and a smile, and there's a recognition. It's kind of like that namaste thing that we talk about. But she does it with everybody. She's been doing it with everybody for as long as I can remember. And she always gets a warm response, or she does most of the time. And I know what she's doing is a spiritual practice. She might not think of it as such, but everyone remembers her. She has a lot of people like her. Everyone remembers her because of her warm embrace. It isn't like a physical hug, but it's a smile and a recognition. She doesn't miss anybody. She's a person who I think is very connected with spirit. She effortlessly extends this radiance, or whatever you want to call it, with people. And she's one of those cheerleaders that many people have been talking about in all these religious science classes for many years. And life responds to us. If you're giving that out, it comes back to you. She's a real lifter. Our thoughts are things. It's as if the world and everything in it is waiting to hear good things, and it glows a little bit brighter when we're coming from this place of connection. When you're coming from connection, you're grounded in source, you're one with the one. It's really easy to interact and give people a warm greeting, or to think well of people. It's when you're yourself coming from a place of brokenness and you're upset and all of that, you just don't have the ability sometimes to extend that. But we're in a teaching where we're learning to practice the presence. We're learning to know that God is all that there is, or spirit is all that there is, and we live in it, we move in it. And as we're connected with it, it's much easier to share that. You don't have to do anything outlandish either. It's just being present here and now and sharing that gift that you have in the moment. So when we come from this place of connection, we're able to extend compassion more easily, a little kindness, and even the simple recognition by this friend of mine, this lady Pat. Now, you've heard me talk in the past about Benjamin Franklin. That's an old lesson for me. My father first gave it to me. In Benjamin Franklin's, I think it's Poor Richard's Almanac, he suggests that we assume a virtue and practice that virtue, especially when life doesn't seem to be working out well for us. See, we're free in this teaching to have a new day. Yesterday ended last night. We're free to turn everything around. It doesn't matter if we've been doing something some way for 10, 15, 20 years. If we have some habit or some way, we are free to turn it around. We can do as that lady Pat does. We can start being present to people. You can start, if you've got a negative conversation that's going on, if you're really rough on yourself or people, you can powerfully make a decision and turn all of that around. It's as simple as that. It's as hard as that. But it's up to us to do it. We're free to turn it around if we decide, and really decide, to be positive and grateful. And if you do that, you won't just be making yourself feel better. You'll be making everything around you feel better too. So if you can come to a point in this lesson today where I'm going to assume this virtue, right out of Benjamin Franklin's Almanac, to be positive and grateful. If you can do that, if you can take that in and say, I'm starting now, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be grateful, I'm going to be a lifter. Sure, you'll make yourself feel better, but I promise you'll be making everything around you better too. So this might be an intention this week for people. Some of you might want to go deeper this week. You might say to yourself, I intend to see the good in everything, or I intend to see the good in everything and everyone. If you do this, and if you practice this, you could write that one out and put it on your refrigerator. I intend to see the good in everything and everyone, and practice it. If you do that, it'll be so powerful. We can all say it to ourselves wherever we are right now. I intend to see the good in everything. Or you might, if you're working on yourself, you might say, I intend to see the good in myself and in everyone. If you do that and you stay with it, you're going to have some very powerful demonstrations, manifestations, demonstrations in your life. A person who is living this way is a true lifter. If you're seeing the good in everyone, you're lifting up the world. You're a champion. You're a cheerleader. So you can see why all those years ago, the ministers, the teachers would say, you who are in this teaching are the lifters. You are the applauders. The kind words that people have given me in my life have meant everything. I'm going to share a little bit more about it today. So this is the challenge, if you'd like to take it up. I intend to, you can say to yourself, you can write it down, but more than that, think about it. And bring it deeply into yourself and say, I intend to see the good in everything and everyone. And that includes you, of course. Our positive words are powerful. They're going to make our lives and the world itself happier, a happier place. Remember, every time we say something kind or thankful, we're adding more joy into the world, and that's something that the world thanks us for in return, because life responds to us. One of my favorite teachers, Dr. Bill T., who really loved our teaching, just was in love with our teaching, he loved talking about the affirmative life. And he always said, we are the cheerleaders of life everywhere. So when we really practice this teaching, seeing the good in the God in everything, and we're the people we're here to say thank you, and it's great and it's wonderful. When we do this, we touch people in ways we can't even possibly understand. Some of you think you have to go out and do something big in the world and save some species, or fight for some grand thing in the world, and that's fine. Some of you will do that. But here's the thing to understand. As you learn to love yourself and realize who you are, meaning I'm one with the one, I'm one with Source, and if you live from this place, this centered place of self-awareness, not only are you going to be creating a beautiful life experience for yourself, but that love within you, that light will radiate out from you and touch people in ways that you'll never really be able to comprehend. It's reminding me of that lady, Pat. She has no idea the good she's doing in the world. I've met so many people like that over the years in this teaching who have inspired me so much. And as we get involved in this teaching, we keep working on ourselves, and we keep lightening the load. We keep letting go of fearful things, ideas, critical thoughts, critical thinking, and all of it. We keep working at it. And sometimes that stuff comes back, as we all know, and we just release the need for it. And we go right back at it. We start the day over. We put ourselves in a new moment. And as we practice this teaching, we become freer and freer expressions of light, and we're more able to extend love to others when we are happy ourselves. I know most of you on this call really want to be lifters. So let's imagine we take on that role as being a lifter or a cheerleader in life. We cheer ourselves for all of our efforts. We refuse to be offended by other people who are just being who they are. Louise, remember, would tell us everyone's doing the best they can with what they know. So let's leave them alone, and let's work and trust that they're unfolding spiritually, and let's work with ourselves. We're here to see the good, to acknowledge it in ourselves, to acknowledge it in other people. We'll even see the good in other people who might not be looking like they're living the kind of life that they could be, but we're here to see the good in everything, because that's our practice. We have kind words for people. We can offer support without being attached to what people say, or whether they get it, or how they respond to us. That isn't our business. When we're in this teaching, you know that life is moving forward. It's moving forward. You've had a lot of lessons yourself. So have I, everyone. And some of them haven't been fun, but you're stronger. They didn't happen to you as much as they happened for you. So when we're in this teaching, we see this activity as a step forward. Other people might judge the same activity as, not being good, but we're different. When we're immersed in this teaching, we see all activity as God in action, as stepping forward, as evolving. No matter how big or small, it's all forward and it's all good. We live and move and we have our being in this divine stuff. We know it's all good, it's all God, and everything is in divine order. We have a wonderful group of people here today in our collective, our second family, which is all the social media people. Really a tremendous group of connected people that will be listening, who are here with us now and will be listening throughout the week. And we understand that this life that we share is all about spirit. We know that spirit's unfolding everywhere and everything's in divine order. We, as Louise said, we trust in the process of life. We come together with a sense of connection with spirit and each other, knowing that we are one with the one. And each of us lift each other up every time we tune in and come together, and we support one another. Every time we come together, we're all remembering our spiritual reality. This collective cheerleading every time we gather has power to renew us and help create waves of optimism that we carry forward into our lives. And as we gather and we disperse, we leave with a lot of information that we will use that will inspire other people to live the affirmative life. In religious science, I was taught years ago that we're here to express life, to express joy. And if you're here long enough, you will have a spiritual realization, and you will absolutely know that life is responding to you all the time. We're here to have a great life, a creative life, a life filled with joy and love, freedom and abundance. So we are the lifters. We have confidence, and we're able to share our joy and love with others. Once we lift ourselves up, and we realize that we are one with the one with Source, we can more easily extend that love into the world. If you're coming here often enough and you really understand the idea that you are one with this divine activity, then you realize you are an individualization of this activity. If you're confident of that, then extend it. Find the way to share that knowledge and that joy. Share your light. Whatever you do, it's going to be a great gift to the world. Every single act of kindness, every word of encouragement you might have, every gesture of appreciation is a step forward toward a world brimming with peace, joy, and happiness. Let's remember, we're not just gardeners tending to our own plots of joy. We're part of a vast, connected garden where every act of cheerleading helps the whole garden flourish. Once we realize who we are, we wake up and realize, oh my goodness, I'm one with the one. I'm an individualization of God life, creative intelligence. Once we wake up to that, once we know that we're points of light within the very mind of God, or we're points of light within the universe itself, once you start to get that and you get excited about it, extend it. You know all is well, and extend it. Just find a way to say, everybody, good job, wonderful, wonderful. Be like Edwina Gaines, the prosperity teacher. She could only talk about the good and the God because she knew that she lived and moved and she had her being in it. So that's what happens in this teaching. You realize that you are living in it, you're moving in it, you are part of it. Now, people might think you're strange when you're thinking it's all God, because it is, it's all spiritual activity. Not everyone's going to understand you in this life or in this teaching. You see, people who really practice this teaching understand that they live in it, they move in it, they have their being in it, in this creative energy, this source, and they realize that we're all in this together. So they naturally become the applauders and the cheerleaders because they have this knowledge. You'll rarely find people in this teaching who are really immersed in it get into arguments with people because they're operating in a different plane of existence. They've leveled up to a point where it's not that they can't, but they don't do it so much. They refuse to be offended. Once again, I'm asking people in all these classes to take on the mantle of the mystic, where you start to understand that everything that you live in and move in is spiritual. It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual activity. It's all good. It's all God. And I'm asking you to consider that each of you are a divine being yourself. Every soul is a center of spiritual activity. Every soul is a spiritual being, and all activity is spiritual activity. Self-realized people, and that's what all of us are becoming here, are committed. People who are committed to this teaching really don't have the time to be fault finders. We realize how brief life is and how beautiful life is. If you're in this teaching and you're really starting to get it, you're a person who's preoccupied in seeing and realizing that Spirit is here now, and it's out picturing everywhere and in everyone. In every encounter, in every activity, you're preoccupied seeing the God or the good. You're completely centered in the realization of who you are. And you know that you have within you everything you need. You know that there is Spirit in you operating through you. And because of this awareness, it's easy for you to extend love and forgiveness. You have kindness, you have mercy. You realize when people are doing things that are not particularly wonderful, you have compassion in you, and you understand that they're unfolding. They're a spiritual being, they're unfolding, and they're growing. And if you're in this teaching, you're living the affirmative life, you've already released a lot of negativity, and perhaps you'll release more. You're learning to release it wherever it comes up. Once you're in this teaching and beginning to live this life that we're talking about, you begin to understand that I live in it, I move in it, everything's in that part of God. And you know it's good. You know it's magnificent, you know it's beautiful, and you're grateful that you're awake in it and you can see it as such. With this consciousness, with this spiritual understanding, you look at each day as an opportunity to contribute and to help lift people, help lift yourself, your friends, your family. We are now, with this teaching, the applauders, because we're acknowledging the good everywhere. In doing so, we don't just chase happiness, like over here with this next thing. We create happiness, we spread happiness, we celebrate it, and we do it together. Please consider, if you take on this role, this consciousness, the impact that you have. The impact that comes from a single kind word or a small act of generosity. Please consider how important that can be on another person's life. I was thinking about this as I was putting this lesson together, that there have been a handful of people that flood through my mind who took the time, when I was younger in particular, who took the time to tell me something really positive about myself when I was growing up, things that I wouldn't have seen myself. Simple, powerful, encouraging words that I have kept with me throughout my life, and I've had a fairly long lifetime. And what a difference those words were. I can think of an aunt, I can think of one of my father's business associates, something my mother's. There's like a handful of people that just got me, and they understood, and they had something very profound and powerful to say when I was growing up. Any of us and all of us can do that, where we can focus in on somebody and give them something. And it's really amazing. In my case, those words I've kept all my life. And I'm just thinking now, what a difference they have made in my life. See, if you're one of those people who are doing that type of thing, you're complimenting people, you're really seeing them, what they're doing, you're doing very important work. That's spiritual work. Don't think that isn't something. That's something magnificent. It's kind of like throwing a pebble into a pond. It goes out for a while, the splash. But the thing is, it goes further and further and further. You just never see the good that you've done. These words that were given to me, I've been sharing with people, audiences, throughout my entire life. I have absolutely no way of knowing how those words have helped people in the world, but I know how it works, and I know they must have. So I'm humbled and I'm grateful, and really I'm just passing on things that have been passed on to me. So now I look at this wonderful community and the transformative power it has, this congregation, this spiritual community, committed to spreading kindness and gratitude, and how that operates in such a grand scale. Our collective efforts here set in motion waves of positive change in the world. We're uplifting spirits, not just those of us on this call and on Facebook and X and YouTube, but my God, everybody who's lifted up, they extend it and they extend it and they extend it, touching hearts of strangers near and far. So your presence here is important, and it's a testament to the beauty and the power of the collective spirit. I'm very appreciative, and I'm excited about what we're doing here, and I'm thankful that you're all here. We're here to grow, to evolve. Each of us are growing and evolving. We're learning to love ourselves more and to extend that love everywhere. By cheering on, by lifting, by recognizing the divine spark within each of us, affirming that everyone is important and everyone's valuable. And I know we're doing great good because of it. We all have much to be grateful for. We have wonderful families, friends. We have the connections we have here, a supportive community. All of this is really wonderful. I found a story I wanted to share. It's a good story that amplifies this message a little bit, because the main character learns about the importance of lifting and cheering and helping in the now. It's called The Three Questions. It was written by Tolstoy, I believe. So in the story, there's a young king, and he learns about lifting people and about helping people. He found the key to finding peace amidst all the chaos lies not in seeking answers far off places. He found the key to this happiness is by embracing the present moment. And his way, he was helping a hermit in the woods and aiding a wounded man. In doing this, the king discovered the most important time to be a cheerleader always is right now. So I want you to remember this. We're all cheerleaders here. So the most important time to be a cheerleader is right now. And the most important person to help her cheer is the person who's right before you, right next to you. And his good. So those were his observations. And the most significant act is to do good in the present. So that was the three things he learned. By focusing on lifting someone up, yourself and others up here and now, right where you are today, focus on lifting the person right in front of you, maybe with a kind word, and the most significant thing is to do the good right now. So that's what, we always talk about being in the here and now. Everything is in the here and now. That's the message from this story. This story shows us that inner peace and happiness is cultivated through awareness. So we are aware that we're one with the one, we live and move, and we have our being in God. Inner peace is found, and happiness is found by having that awareness and having that compassion right here in the present and cheering those around us right now. You can look to your life, you can look to your living room, you can look to people on the call, your friends, you know, they're right around you. So that's what I wanted to pass on to you. And I have a little visualization for us before we wrap this down. So let's take a moment together to center ourselves. You can close your eyes if you want. This is brief. And breathe in inner peace into your space. Let it fill you up. Give yourself permission to take a little journey and breathe in peace and exhale any anxiety or anything that might have been on your mind today. Breathe in peace and give yourself permission to pause. Again, breathe in deeply and join me on this little journey inward. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of what we'll call a magical forest, a very safe place. And with each breath, feel that you're more grounded, more present. The air around you vibrates with life, filled with whispers of growth and renewal. This magical forest is a mirror of your inner world, a beautiful reminder that you are deeply connected to the web of life. Here you recognize your inner light. You see a radiant force of love and strength. This is your inner light. Feel this light within you. Feel it glowing softly at first, then growing brighter, fueled by the love and acceptance you hold for yourself. Your light, the awareness of your light, is a testament to your journey, embracing every imperfection and every triumph. As you walk through the forest, your light touches everything around you, the trees, the birds, the flowers, illuminating their beauty. You become a beacon, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. Your very presence celebrates life, resilience, and the shared journey of growth. This forest walk is more than a path through nature. It's a journey of self-love that echoes outward. By loving yourself, you lift up the world. You are the light, the cheerleader, the beacon of hope and renewal. Carry this light forward and let it guide you and others to brighter paths. Recognize that by loving ourselves, we are better equipped to love and lift others, creating a cycle of positivity and growth that radiates throughout our community. So, let's move forward with the commitment to spread love, light, and encouragement, championing the beauty within us and around us, and uplifting the world one kind act at a time. So this is our time to begin to close. We'll eventually be turning the microphones over to you. So as we draw this gathering to a close, let's carry forward the energy and the inspiration of today, and let's be determined to take it into every corner of our life. Remember, being a cheerleader of life is a choice that we make every day, a choice to see the good, to celebrate it, to spread it. It's entirely up to us to do it. Let's conclude with Ernest Holmes' famous statement, there is power for good in the universe, and you can use it. By saying yes to life, by knowing that we are supplied and supported all the time, we're able to lift ourselves up and lift up the world. By living with this awareness, we not only enrich our lives, but also we're able to cheer on others. We lift the world with our joy, our love, and our compassion. It's up to us. In every moment, a choice exists. We can cling to the past, or we can embrace the inevitability of change and allow a brighter future to unfold for ourselves. Such is the path of the cheerleaders of life, forever in pursuit of the light. So let's do an affirmative prayer, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. And I'm saying this in the first person. I recognize that I am immersed in the loving presence of the universe. It's in me, operating through me, a divine energy that creates and sustains all life. This infinite wisdom is the source of all beauty, strength, and love, surrounding and filling me every moment of my life. I now affirm my oneness with Spirit, understanding that I am an individualization, a unique expression of it. I'm intimately connected with the infinite power that guides the stars and blooms the flowers. In this sacred moment, I affirm my power to uplift and to love myself, recognizing my worth and embracing my capacity for change and growth. I'm a beacon of light and positivity, cheerleading myself and all around me. I celebrate my achievements and the beauty of my journey, knowing that I'm supported in my endeavors of spreading kindness and encouragement. I'm filled with gratitude for the endless blessings of life, for the love that surrounds me, and for the strength that flows through me. I give great thanks for this wonderful, wonderful community of kindred spirits, for our collective efforts to uplift one another, and for the divine guidance that leads us forward. With gratitude and trust, I release my word into the universe. Knowing it's already done in perfect ways, I let go. I'm open to the manifestations of love and joy in my life. And so it is. So now we turn our gathering over to you. It's your time to share your stories of triumph, your acts of cheerleading, the words maybe that people have given you that have moved you forward, and the beautiful ways you've lifted yourself up, and the ways others have lifted you. So let's celebrate the positive impact we make, inspiring one another in our demonstrations. And so it is. So now we're going to turn the microphone over to you, and you can share what I call your good news, your demonstrations, or how maybe this lesson has touched you. Thank you.